through your freedom.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Here we are. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It's Q&A for a Tuesday. SHTF, folks, it is Tuesday. Sometimes it's Two for Tuesday. Sometimes it's Taco Tuesday. It's a Tuesday, though. Anyways, we got some incredible SHTF going on, coming at you from Studio B, the Prepared Mind channel. Folks, understand we have a lot going on, and the battle is on. Now, I hope you caught that short video I did earlier. I just popped on live and said, hey, look, it's time to set it and forget it. When the show is over, hit the Prepared Mind channel, go down below and hit the channel to go to the main page. And then you'll see a thing that says play all right above the videos. Just click on that, set it and forget it. And that way YouTube gets the message that we are incredibly popular. And I want to give you guys this. I want to go into this. This is incredible. It has to do with why you and I are a threat. Why we are a threat to Washington, D.C., the deep state. You know, I often say, you know what, we're just a little guy. We're a bunch of little people, little guys, little girls. We don't really matter that much. You know, we're not that strong. We're not that powerful. All we can do is prepare. Well, we can do that preparing thing. But I'm often reminded that we have way more influence than we realize. You would think that with a nation of 350 million people, that CNN would be in like half the homes every night. There'd be like 150 million people watching CNN. They're so powerful, so influential, but they're not, folks. Okay, now CNN has been trying to get their own app, and it is an epic failure. They spent $250 million, and it's a failure. It's a boom. It's a bust. It's garbage. So less than two, and this is important because it has an opposite or mirror reflection on you and me right here. Wanted to lead off with this, folks. This is very important. So less than 2 weeks into its existence, CNN's paid streaming service, where they want people to come and watch their stuff and pay them money, CNN Plus, it has failed to attract even 10,000 daily users. This is according to CNBC, right? Citing that people familiar with the matter say it's a failure, it's a bust, right? Putting this in perspective, I think, is important. CNN averages 773,000 total daily viewers. That's it. I know you would think it would be 70 million or 150 million. Half the country would tune in at some point, but no, it's only 773,000. And I think that that's exaggerated. I think they're not even doing that good. And their new CNN Plus app can't even get 10,000 viewers. So when I say we get tens of thousands daily here, that means something. Now, CNN only gets 773,000. And folks, at one point, the Prepared Mind channel was getting over 130,000 views a day. About 25% of what CNN is getting right now. And that was before they started strangling us and censoring us and silencing us. We had to be silenced, folks, because regular YouTubers could become as powerful as a multi-billion-dollar satellite news organization, all run from what? My fifth wheel, or a yurt, or a bunker, or Uman's back office, right? They don't like that you and I have that kind of power that we can reach that many people. So they've censored and silenced and blacklisted us. They've shadow banned us and hidden us. They've removed people. They unsubscribe people all the time from the network, right? After spending $250 million on the CNN Plus app, it makes dumpster fires feel good about themselves, folks. That's how bad they are, right? Fewer than 10,000 people a day are using CNN. I think many people thought I was joking when I said, the president gets 500 viewers, maybe on a video. He gets a couple hundred live during the time of the video. And we beat him. We beat the hell out of him with Sunday Night Live. Folks, we beat the hell out of CNN Plus. And it's just little old me and little old you, right? They can't survive, right? They can't survive. They have satellite TV, they have cable networks, they have broadcast TV, all supporting them, folks, all supporting them. They have commercial applications, they have money coming from advertisers, and they can't keep up. They can't even exist. No one cares what they have to say, right? Help us fight YouTube right now, folks, and the censorship by doing the set it and forget it thing. That set it and forget it program is for freedom. And it tells YouTube, hey, people are watching this. They're binge watching John. This is incredible. I guess, I don't know. Maybe we should support him more. I don't know what they're thinking, but I know it pisses them off. So go to the Prepared Mind channel right on YouTube, find the videos, and click the play all thing. So they automatically play video after video and show YouTube how popular we really are. I just felt that was really important to start off with that. Incredible, folks. And it keeps coming, folks. The SHTF keeps on coming. Over in Ukraine, right? We were threatened with World War III. Yes, we were. We were told we could have a nuclear attack. We could have false flags from Russia, chemical attacks, biological attacks. We're going to have a war, oil prices through the roof. They're doing all they can to scare us and control us and create emergencies. Well, the Pentagon, folks, has treated the Azov battalion, that's the Ukrainian Nazis. It treats their claims of a Russian chemical attack, right, as if they're real. Why are they listening to them? Well, they need to continue to scare us. They do. They need to continue to scare us. So get this. And I will put in some commentary because that's what we do. That's my idea of it's my idea of a little bit of satire, right? So U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken addressed allegations out of Ukraine that Russian forces had used chemical weapons there. Coming from the Azov battalion, I guess they're the ones that snitched off and said that. So Reuters reported that Blinken stated the U.S. is not in a position to confirm anything when it comes to reports of the use of chemical weapons in Ukraine. What do you mean the U.S.? They don't have agents. They don't have spies. They don't have CIA on the ground to confirm or deny this. We're only relying on people inside Ukraine, Ukrainian military. That's it. He says, well, we're in direct conversation with partners to try and determine what actually has happened. Meaning they're asking Zelensky if he knows his ass from a hole in the ground. So Blinken says, so this is a real concern, regarding the chemical weapons. And then he added, folks, crucially, that the United States has, quote, credible information. I love it. I love it because the White House had credible information about all kinds of false flags. And then they came out and admitted that there was no credible information, that they made it all up. They made up that information during a time when they were trying to convince you, the American people, that we need to support war in Ukraine and send our military, our boys and girls, over to Ukraine to fight Russia. That's what they were trying to do, and it failed, and it failed miserably, did it not? I say get prepared. I say have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. I say have a plan. Because we don't know what these fools are going to do next, but we just know it's not going to be smart. So let's move on with Mr. Blinken. Then he seemed to suggest that the chemical attacks were more related to riot control gear and not necessarily major battlefield deployments. He says, we had credible information that Russian forces may use a variety of riot control agents, including tear gas, mixed with chemical agents that would cause stronger symptoms. You mean like like how they do here, how they mix pepper spray with CS gas, tear gas, and spray people with different agents to get a cocktail effect of pain and suffering? Something like that, maybe? We had credible information that Russian troops may use a variety of riot control agents, including tear gas, mixed with chemical agents that would cause stronger symptoms. Doesn't say deadly symptoms, stronger symptoms. This is a real concern, says Blinken. We shared that information with Ukraine, as well as with our partners. Partners? Who are the partners? What is a partner in a war? They can't name names. We shared this information with England, Poland. Who are their partners? It's almost like we're dealing with children in the schoolyard. So using tear gas and chemical agents in a war, folks, a war is a real concern. But using flashbang grenades, tear gas, chemical agents, let's see what else. Oh yeah, rubber bullets. Using them on protesters in Washington, D.C. is just fine. But you dare to use chemical agents in a war zone? That makes you a war criminal. If that makes them a war criminal, what does that make Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police, Nancy Pants Pelosi, Joe Biden, what does that make them? So I suppose using horses to trample Ukrainians would be bad in Ukraine. It would be a war crime to use horses, right, to trample people. A major concern. But in Canada, Justin Trudeau and his police love using horses to crush and trample old ladies. That's just fine. No war crime there. Remember, folks, only Putin is bad. Russia, bad. Russia. Trudeau and Biden and the FBI, they're our friends. They're our partners. Yeah, folks, this is how comical it is, but it also scares the hell out of me that these people are in charge, that they have authority and power and they use it. And they have the media lying for them. Yeah, media lying. Now, I covered the media and said, hey, look at CNN. No one tunes in. They don't want to hear it, right? So the Rachel Maddow, who looks like a mad cow, far-left Russian collusion hoaxer on mainstream media, said basically she's only going to do one night a week. She's only going to do her show one night a week on MSNBC. Folks, I'm here 6 days a week, right? Monday through Friday, and then Sunday Night Live, which, by the way, will be postponed because next Sunday is Easter, I think. You know, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. So normally I'm here 6 days a week. Rachel Maddow can only make it one. Is that because no one cares what she has to say? You know, socialist scum in media, folks, are losing their audiences. So they want to do less of their ass kissing and are likely thinking of suicide. Someone should check on Rachel and Lemonhead and Chris Cuomo and Chris Wallace and all the others, because they are irrelevant now, folks, despite being propped up by cable companies, satellite companies, regular broadcast companies, and corporate sponsors. Corporate sponsors. You know, I recall when YouTube began claiming white supremacists were getting advertising revenue from online advertisers on YouTube. And so they cut everyone off and started this nonsense that still exists today, letting mainstream media channels broadcast violence, hate, lies, and propaganda, plus misinformation, while simultaneously, folks, paying a fraction of the former advertising revenue to patriot channels. You know, because we are misinformation and we're bad. So again, folks, this is why I'm doing this now. Show them who matters, right? Set it and forget it. The Prepared Mind Network after you finish the broadcast. Additionally, I'm kicking around the idea of bringing back Kittens and Yarn just to mess with them, because we'll put a video out. And I tell you, folks, I purposely don't use any cuss words like shit, ass, and fuck in a video just to make sure that YouTube doesn't censor it. And they still censor it. They still hide us. They still punish us because they're afraid of us. They're afraid of you and me getting on here and having a question and answer session. The fact that thousands and thousands of people are here daily and CNN can't get 10,000 folks. That's how strong we can be if we all cooperate and keep pushing and fighting. We don't give up like Rachel Madcow. And we don't give up, right? Like the rest of them. And they're getting paid very well. Now, Putin says Ukraine talks are at a dead end. Right? They're at a dead end, folks. And he warns that inflation is going to put pressure on Western politicians. That would be Europe, Canada, and America. So who's going to fight to the end on this? Will Biden, the Afghan surrender master, will he fight to the end or will he give up? Actually, he doesn't get to choose, does he? No, he doesn't. See, the powers that be saw that Afghanistan was a losing case, that they were wasting their time and they weren't going to get the money out of that area that they really, really wanted. Right? So they abandoned ship. And isn't that funny? Just a few short months later, they're pushing Putin's buttons, trying to start a war there, trying to take the Ukraine. Crazy stuff. So Putin is talking about confrontation with the West. And he says time will put everything in its proper place. Very interesting comment. Putin says inflation and rising food and oil, gas, fuel costs, prices in the West, meaning US and Europe, will start to put pressure on politicians here. Putin says the West, the US and Europe, do not understand that difficult conditions unite the Russian people. And I do believe that. You see, our country in the United States and Europe also, folks, in our country, are we united over anything? Now, I know we have the great uniter, Biden, who hasn't united but continued to divide. See, our country is fractured. It's fractured between East and West, North and South. It's fractured between white, Black, Hispanic, Asian, Native American. It's fractured between the old and the young and the idiots in the middle. It's fractured, folks, between the super poor, the working poor, the middle class, and the upper class. And we're all pitted against each other, so we don't really look at the mega corporate class, right? The oligarchs of America. They try to keep us not focused on them. But in Russia, they're all pretty much in the same ship and they're all being picked on by exterior forces. In America now, I think we've all but forgotten what it's like to be unified to fight a common enemy. And I'm going to submit that we haven't been there since the 1980s and Ronald Reagan. And even then, with Tip O'Neill in charge of Congress, things were really pretty rough. Maybe we haven't been united, folks, since Eisenhower was president. It's been a big, giant mess, and we don't get united. But Russia, right? Russia is united, right? Now, on Bucha or Bucha and current widespread allegations of Russian troops conducting war crimes coming from the West, Putin told Lukashenko, he says, I talk to colleagues from Western countries often. And when they say Bucha to me, I ask, have you ever been to Raqqa? Did you see how this Syrian city was completely destroyed down to the very ground by American aircraft? And there, indeed, the corpses were laying and decomposing in the ruins for months. No one cared about it. No one even noticed. War crimes, folks. War crimes. Death. War. Pain. Suffering. I remember showing you guys photos of Senator John McCain, Senator McCain, standing and posing for pictures with terrorists, ISIS terrorists, Al-Qaeda terrorists, that they were supplying with weapons, training, and giving them intelligence so they could attack and try and overthrow Bashar al-Assad. And nobody screamed war crimes then. But look what they're trying to scream in Ukraine. And the people, folks, over in America, I think they've had enough. I think they've had enough. right? According to the mainstream media, Ukraine is already fading on television news, right? Now, this is how I look at it. Spoiled children disregard their toys if they aren't new and they're not shiny and they're not cool. Spoiled kids get bored with everything and they're always looking for someone else to keep them entertained, right? And the mainstream media folks, they're just toys. And so they've got to give us shiny new news stories all the time because, people having a short attention span, they just don't care. They're so used to being manipulated and managed by government that they're waiting on the next thing. It's incredible what is going on. Now, European companies have pled to China to revise their COVID zero plans and policies, right? And I talked about this in one of my earlier videos. If we can just save one life, it's worth it. Remember that, folks. European countries, they don't care, right? They want them to reverse their policies of lockdown. But isn't that going to kill people? They don't care. They're not going to report that, folks. But they'll report something like this, that Chernobyl was a wildlife haven until the Russian troops arrived. Now they're evil, bad. I thought Chernobyl was a nuclear wasteland, that it was radioactive. But now they're trying to report it like it's some sort of animal haven where I guess six-legged deer run free and everything's fine. Right? Chernobyl, synonymous with nuclear accident. Now Chernobyl, we're supposed to believe, was a wilderness, and Russians are bad. That story did not take off. You may not have even heard that story, right? Probably you didn't hear it, folks. That videos appeared to show Ukrainian soldiers executing a Russian soldier who was captured in an ambush outside of Kiev, right? The New York Times basically reported on it, right? And I said, well, wait a minute. Why isn't the mainstream media and cable, satellite showing it? They don't want to show Ukraine soldiers executing or torturing Russians. Oh, by the way, folks, they captured this guy. Under the Geneva Convention, you cannot refuse to accept the enemy's surrender. You cannot execute the enemy once they have surrendered. To violate that is a war crime, and it's an atrocity, is it not? Hi, Voldemort Zelensky. What say you? See, once again, folks, all is fair in love and war. All is fair in love and war, and these people don't seem to understand. Except they really do understand that here on this channel, right, we talk about things that they don't, and we're interested in things that they aren't. And we're willing to get prepared for what we know is inevitably going to come, and that is hard times. Right? It's as if the government thinks we're idiots and the mainstream media thinks we're idiots. And I guess a lot of the country is loaded with idiots. But people around the world really do get it. They really do see. And a great example of that, folks, is that in Saudi Arabia, on Saudi TV, they are mocking Joe Biden and First Lady Kamala Harris, right? Saudi Arabia, folks, is a Muslim nation. It's a Muslim nation that prohibits any criticism of itself or its religion, right? They're now Saturday Night Live. Well, it's a new SNL, Saudi Night Live. I saw this and I thought it looked like a Saturday Night Live skit, the way the stage was set up, the way the people were dressed, right? Our former ally, folks, our former good buddy, Saudi Arabia, now has new protector pimps and preferred customers for their oil products. China and Russia. There's no need for 100% U.S. government protection and keeping the U.S. government as their ally. No longer needed. So they do a marvelous job of saying exactly what the world thinks by mocking Joe as a doddering fool, a puppet being controlled, right? This is exactly what the world thinks, folks. Biden's a puppet and a fool of Kamala, Obama, Clinton, Soros, Schmidhead, Klaus, Gates, Muckerberg, etc. This is what the world sees. And this is, folks, when they see fools, Remember, that's the same fools in Washington, D.C. that you and I are forced to obey. And they threaten us. They threaten us with taxes. They threaten us with prison. They threaten us with arrest. They threaten us with shutting down our life. They threaten us with taking our benefits. All of us. They threaten us that way. And these are the same idiots that the world says, look at those idiots in America in charge in the government. And we're supposed to wonder how shit hit the fan. No, it is hit the fan because we have those idiots in charge and the world sees it. Now, of course, I look at the rest of the world and go, you guys are no better off. You have idiots also. We all do, folks. And that is why this is so very scary. So very scary. And then this came up. There's a false flag warning from conservative guest on Tucker TV. Right, Naomi Wolf let us know that the defeat of the Democrats and Biden in this midterm election will not be allowed. See my earlier video from today for a lot more insights into this. But I wanted to remind you that even on mainstream TV and Tucker TV on Fox, Tucker Carlson, is about as radical as you're going to get. And the left hates him, folks. They would remove him and silence him the same way they silenced us here if they could. If they could. But they can't. Right? They can't silence Tucker. Not yet, but they'll keep trying. But he's getting the word out, folks. And so if that's going out on mainstream TV, it's safe for me to say, yeah, we better be well aware of the false flags. And we've discussed them. And in detail, I discussed that in the video. You know, the mainstream media is failing, folks. They're failing absolutely. What do you think that means for you and I? Well, it means things are going to get worse. They're not going to tell us the real dangers, and they're going to tell us about the fabricated ones that give them and government more power. That's why I say you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You need to have that plan. You need to understand that 10-mile radius around you. If you just stand in one spot and turn around, if you could see 10 miles, that's the area you need to worry about most in SHTF. Because the media is failing us. Our government is failing us, and things are falling apart. Go try and get some baby formula, folks. Try and buy, Mountain House food, not available anymore. In fact, I think our food distributor has said they're not going to sell anymore, sadly. So on the preparedmind.club, your store for Armageddon Chow, I don't think we can get beef from that beef company. So Jolene is working on a replacement. As always, behind the scene, Jolene is doing all she can to protect us, folks. Help us out. Make sure that we all have the ability to shop for items at the preparedmind.club. Availability for everything is going to get more difficult, folks, more difficult. They said the beef company we were using says no more. They're cutting not just us, not just the Prepared Mind off, but everybody who isn't inside their 4-state radius, their local neighborhood. Apparently, they don't have enough beef to sell to everybody. So they're preferring their customers that they have, their local customers they've had a long time. They're preferring to stock them. Understand that's going to happen everywhere, folks. That as supplies shrink, the scope that people are willing to work in is going to shrink. We got trouble, folks. The media won't report that, and they won't report this either, that Capitol Police, they have video of it, folks, allowing protesters to enter in the side door of Congress. They're going to use that in court. Right now, Alan Dershowitz and other dream team lawyers are set to defend people using this video. Why isn't the mainstream media showing that everywhere? We're going, how can this be insurrection if the cops literally open the door and invite people in? The mainstream media should be showing that footage 24/7 in a news cycle. And it's not just one door and it's not just one cop, folks. It's all over the place on Capitol Hill on January 6th. The reason they won't show it is not because they are grossly incompetent and haven't figured it out. It's because they have an agenda. They need to hide the facts, like there was no riot. It was caused by the DC police, the damage that was done. The people were peacefully protesting. The media will ignore the fact that suppliers, both domestic and then getting our foreign supplies to make this country work, are being cut, shortened. We're in big, big, big trouble. So let's do this, folks. It is time for the Q&A, the question and answer session, because it's Tuesday, and I want to get to what you want to talk about. But before we do that, I want to remind everyone that you here on Patreon are very, very appreciated. We can't do this without you. Like I said, YouTube is trying to kill us off. Mainstream media is trying to kill us off. Social media is trying to kill us off. Here on YouTube, you guys are helping us. And if you're watching this video on YouTube and not Patreon, that means you're getting it hours after hours after the patrons have been here, and they're going to participate in this just like they do every week, every afternoon. Patreon supporters are here live, and they put their questions up and have a good old time. And it is your questions that make this show so fabulous. So, yeah. What is Patreon, right? How does it work? What does it do? Well, this is what it does.
Are you ready?
And we're back. Let's see what you want to talk about. Did you get your questions into Jolene? You can talk about any topic you want. Questions, comments, thoughts, topics. Or you could do the Stump the John, tell a lie, tell the truth. Whatever you want to talk about. It's your show in the Q&A session. So we start with Latin American preparedness. He says, obviously, people no longer have interest in getting news from mainstream media. The reported numbers from CNN indicate people not interested in their news. Could the reason be people are getting tired of lies? Well, I'll tell you what. That is, to me, the exact reason that CNN is absolutely failing. People know that they're being lied to. People know that they're being hoodwinked, that they're being tricked. People realize that. They look outside. They talk to friends. They talk to family. They talk to coworkers. And their friends, family, and coworkers don't agree with the rainbow flag people. They don't agree with the BLM and Antifa scum. For the most part, folks, people who are Democrats, when I run into them, they don't run around and think of me as the evil guy or that you're an actual domestic terrorist as a parent. But they're told that that's what it is. And so people, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, are rejecting mainstream media. That doesn't mean that they're not partisan. That if asked to choose between Republican and Democrat, they obviously run to the Democrat side. They have been, I would say, very successfully influenced to feel guilty, shameful, and to blame themselves for all the bad things that happened. That brainwashing did take, as far as I'm concerned. But they don't. I think they know instinctively. I mean, to have a 30% approval number, President Biden, or no, is he 40% and Kamala's 30%? Whatever it is. To be less than half the country supporting you, that means your own party is rejecting you. That's pretty bad. Yeah. People are getting tired of the lies because they look around and they see that what they're being told is reality isn't. Like I said, I see hundreds of cars when I go out. I see hundreds of people, and I only see a few Ukraine flags here and there. You would think that if the American people were strongly behind it, solidarity for the Ukrainian people, there would be flags everywhere. to me, it's just mostly disgusting when I see it because these people have no idea what they're supporting. I do not support Nazis. Just don't do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Not a good idea. Right? You know what Hitler did, and I don't support communists either. Right? No fascists, no communists, no thank you. I choose freedom, life, and the Constitution, the American way. That's how I roll. Anyways, thank you, Latin American preparedness. Yeah, they're tired of it. They're just tuning it out. Interestingly, I wonder if Rachel Madcow is tired of telling lies, and that's why she's cutting her show to 1 week. So we got the slim one, and he checks in. He says, question for John. Do you think if we converted trains to hydrogen, that would help our gasoline issues? I've been looking into this energy crisis a lot. Crispy Bacon and I have been working on it, looking at things. We do a lot of behind the scenes investigations. Hydrogen, when it burns, turns into water. H2O, water, is hydrogen, 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, H2O. So the byproduct of burning hydrogen is water. What a great waste product, huh? So how do we get hydrogen as a fuel? Now, what hydrogen, folks, is very unstable. It loves to combine with other things. So it's very flammable, very dangerous. Ask everyone who didn't survive the Hindenburg explosion and burning. But getting hydrogen and then creating hydrogen engines, it's something I experimented with the hydrogen generator that I ran on my diesels, and it did work, folks. It improved my fuel economy 20%. I think it was 16% on the turbocharged engine and over 20% on the naturally aspirated diesel engine. It was incredible. But how do you get hydrogen, right? So I've been looking at this technology called SMRs, small modular reactors. SMRs are nuclear reactors using new technology. And I really started looking into uranium and nuclear energy after Fukushima because I was worried about more meltdowns, more problems with nuclear. Is there a safer way to do things? How much of a life-ending situation would it be if we had the grids shut down by EMP or coronal mass ejection? Would the nuclear power plants all melt down into a Fukushima or Chernobyl or 3 Mile Island? Well, the answer is no. The safeties are in place. Fukushima didn't melt down. Had a problem because their backup generators didn't operate. Chernobyl was a huge mistake, and it was a one-of-a-kind design, and thankfully it's out of commission. So nuclear is actually very safe. But they're saying that's not good enough, and they've come up with these small modular reactors. And one of the byproducts of them is they can get a lot of hydrogen out of them. In addition to creating the steam that spins the turbine, that generates the power, and then they collect that steam and condense it back into water, and it's a closed loop system. They also can create hydrogen. One of these small modular reactors, and by small, they mean it's 77 megawatts of power. 77 megawatts. That's a lot of power. So a dozen of those strapped together, and they're modular, kind of like a modular home. You can, they're going to manufacture these things. And the technology now is approved by the U.S. Department of Energy and the nuclear people there. They're all for it. They've all approved it, and they're getting ready to go international with it. And they can, and could, I should say, create a lot of hydrogen, a very clean burning fuel. Wouldn't it be great, folks, if they combined the production of that hydrogen with the manufacturing of automobiles, and as you suggest, Slim One, locomotives that run on hydrogen gas, creating not carbon as a byproduct, but creating water as a byproduct. If they split the hydrogen off in the nuclear reactor as they create energy, and then they recombine it, getting more energy out of it the other way, burning it as a fuel. There are so many great energy answers out there, folks. I guess the oil companies don't want to let go of their power. I guess the bribes and payoffs that go to let's see, Washington, D.C., other state capitals. The solution isn't windmills, which don't turn as much as people would think and don't produce as much power as you think. And when you see the infrastructure needed to support windmills for power, it's incredible the amount of steel and concrete and roads and dirt work just to make one windmill. And then solar, well, the sun is only up so many hours a day. And then in northern latitudes, it's not nearly as effective. And then you have clouds, ice, snow, wind. How about forest fires burning in California, putting plumes of smoke in the air? That's carbon, right? Governor Newsom, that's carbon that your state threw out, more carbon because of the fires, and Oregon also. Incredible amounts of carbon were released into the atmosphere, particulate to cause cancer and lung issues and asthma. Thanks, Governor Newsom. I'm glad you sent your firefighters in California up to Oregon instead of putting out your own fires. There's so much to this, folks, so much to it. But back to the question of trains, you bet. We would solve a lot of energy issues, folks, if government made the right decision. Now, thankfully, and speaking with Crispy Bacon about this, and I keep threatening to have an interview with him, but we have all these great talks, and then he's off saving the world in his own way. They've got the answers and the solutions. And it's going to be the private sector. And it's going to be you and me, the people who demand better answers than we'll just go buy an EV. That's the answer. No. That's a politician sellout. Right. So it's going to be a private company, maybe someone like Tesla, Elon Musk. Maybe he'll release a hydrogen engine that could run off of this. Is it going to be Bill Gates? I don't trust these oligarchs and billionaires, right? But there are people out there who are good, who are working on these technologies, and they should become available, but not until after we're done, folks, with SHTF. Not until we get rid of these slugs and dinosaurs in DC, because they want the old ways where they're in control and they have the power. They don't want us to be free. They don't want us to have liberty. They don't want us to be wealthy and live well. So they're going to keep crushing us under high gasoline prices instead of giving us new technologies that are affordable. Wouldn't it be nice to put a kit on your engine? Or instead of buying a whole new car, just go down and have them put a hydrogen engine inside of it with a little hydrogen fuel cell. Wouldn't that be great? And selling hydrogen as a byproduct of other energy generation. Doesn't that make sense? It's a byproduct. It doesn't cost any more money. It's already there. That's the world we live in, folks. The world where bad decisions are made. It is bizarro land, where SHTF is a way of life for us, where we're continually being threatened with death from, plague, famine, and war, right? The 4 horsemen riding roughshod over the whole planet. That's the system they love having, folks, because it allows them to declare emergency and then steal from us, take our rights, etc. All right, let's move on if we can. I just love that topic. I've been doing, like I said, a lot of research into energy and the hydrogen engine. It's something that I did create myself for my own trucks, proved it works. The efficiency goes way up. But they don't want us to have it, so they haven't made it mainstream. We got Kathy Lamaster checking in and with a question, says, can we bring back the Board of Truth? I think we need more shirts. Okay, believe it or not, I was in the prepared bunker and I looked at the Board of Truth and I thought, I really need to bring that here, right? I need to get it in front of the camera. I love doing the Board of Truth, and I need to come up with some topics and explain it that way. It is always fun to do. It just does take a lot of prep time, Kathy, because I have to draw everything out. It's a totally different presentation style that's fun, but it comes down to hours in a day. I mean, I've got to make money to pay the bills, and YouTube doesn't want to pay, but we're going to try and screw with them. We're going to mess around with them. If we do and successfully do this, set it and forget it on the Prepared Mind and just hit the play all button, maybe they'll actually pay a few pennies, right? Maybe it'll give me some more time so that I can do some Board of Truth stuff. And you say we need some more shirts. I need to create another Prepared Mind shirt. So I'm going to work with Kaz, Vaughn, Ooman, and Jolene, and probably Crispy Bacon as well. See, the last shirt was, fuck around and find out, the Kyle Rittenhouse t-shirt. It was a limited edition. We ran, I think we made 59 or 49, no, it was 49 or 50 shirts. And that really was it. I didn't make any more and I didn't distribute them. So maybe we'll do another t-shirt. I just need a good slogan, a good thing. Maybe you guys can come up with that as well. But yeah, it was fun doing that, but it was that was a lot of work mailing those all off. And I think Nikki was involved in that. Newman was involved with that. A bunch of people were involved with that. But it was fun. It was fun. So maybe Jolene can help remind me. Maybe Ooman and Kaz can help come up with some good ideas. Okay, let's move on if we shall. We've got Christine B. Hanna, and she's got a truth and a lie. Truth or lie, right? Stump the John. So she says, God has to go scorched earth to reveal the evil. Or if you pray hard enough, we can change the ending. This is kind of looks like a religious question, a religious truth or lie. So which one is true? Which one is not true? God has to go scorched earth to reveal the evil. Or if you pray hard enough, we can change the ending. So I think that it is God has to let evil scorch the earth, because that's how I think the good book says it happens. He removes his protections for a time. Evil plays its hand, tries to win, ends up losing. I do like the idea, though, that prayer works, because we on this show alone have seen a lot of evidence of that also working. We may not change the end of the overall game. And that's where I think I'm going to stand, Christine, is we can't change how this plays out, but we can make little changes in our individual lives through prayer. In fact, I want to say hello to Steve, who is he's been here for a long time from the very beginning. You guys know him as, I almost keep saying his name, right? Steve USMC, right? I sent a text out to him this morning asking how he was, and he says he's still having some health troubles, but he's going to be okay. So if we could, prayers for Steve. He is a Marine Corps veteran from the Vietnam War, and he is a patriot like all of us. And I think a few prayers for him would be terrific. He didn't ask for them, folks. I just think it'd be a great idea if we did that and see if we can make a little difference in Steve's life. But for the most part, folks, evil has to go scorched earth, and it is. And people that are evil, whether they're in entertainment or information media or communications or law or military or government, education, they're showing us they're evil, are they not? Are they backing off? Are they satisfied with just a little evil? No, no, no. They don't want to be evil light or diet evil. Not evil enough. They want to go full scale, over the top evil. They want to sexualize children and talk to them about gender modification in kindergarten. And teachers want to describe their love lives, their twisted, freaky love lives with children. Really? Oh, yeah. The military, they want to take combat boots and put on combat high heels to our troops. That's what they want. Education isn't about reading, writing, and arithmetic. No, no, no. It's about social conformity. It's about feelings. That's what they want to make it about. I mean, every sector of our lives, folks, is showing and demonstrating a sickness. And I'm even seeing it within the church as well. And by church, I mean not the entire Christian faith or the entire Catholic faith, but rather I hear from people about individual churches where they have become socialist They have been become communist, and they have become evil themselves, pushing these things that are detrimental and against the very word itself. So, without getting all churchy on you guys, it's important to note, right? Our faith is important, our faith in what matters and where things are going. So don't get all churchy on here, but, just understand that is a part of our lives. I am not, I don't go to church every Sunday. Right? My church is in my heart and in my mind and my soul and all that. So look out, folks. Look out. What else have we got? Jolene, because I've got a lot of stuff, but I want to take care of you guys first. Bonnie Blue, Second Amendment 2A checks in, says, happy birthday to Christine Bihana. Happy birthday, Christine. I didn't know it was your birthday, and typically birthdays for me are very difficult. So I may have seen it and missed it. Any way you look at it, happy, happy, happy birthday. And then looks like we had a last second super chat from Crazy Uncle that I didn't hear about. And he said, missed prep hot sauce. Why? Because prepper food is boring. Okay, now this is really important, especially for new preppers. And again, if you're sharing every video, if you hit the thumbs up on every video and make sure you hit the bell, the notification bell, it's down there. Hit all those things, but we get a lot of new people in here, folks. We are growing despite the fact that YouTube is trying to silence us, censor us, and hide us. Now, again, I want to remind everyone, after the show, hit the play all button and do set it and forget it. It will help YouTube learn that they can't stop us. Now, Crazy Uncle, hot sauce. New preppers, we want you to get lots of rice and beans, corn and flour, whatever it takes, so you've got food, that bulk food. It's inexpensive and it'll go a long ways. You need that in case there's a food interruption, a supply interruption. But understand you also need spices and condiments. The reason being, you cannot eat rice every meal every day for a week and not get so sick and tired of rice that you'll never want to eat again. Food needs to have flavor. There needs to be some variety, right? And it's super, super important. It just is. So buy cans of corn, buy cans of green beans, buy cans of corn and green beans, buy cans of carrots and mixed vegetables. Have a variety of things. But yes, have hot sauce, have barbecue sauce, have spices. Make that part of your prepping food. Now, again, when I went to the RMZ, I went to the jungle. I had 2 weeks of food while I was waiting for my stuff to be, shipped down to where I was at. And luckily it showed up in time before I ran out of food. Best laid plans of mice and men. All that said, yeah, I had to eat Armageddon Prepper Chow. I had, I think, 4 different meals, and they were high quality. They were the Thrive pre-made packages. Very, very good. I enjoyed eating them, but it got a little bland. I mean, I was digging around in my backpack looking for salt packets, pepper packets, everything. So yeah, food is critical, not only for your health, for your energy, but for your psychology, mentality. And again, that's why I say you've got to be fully prepared up here by understanding where we're at in the world, where we're at in SHTF, by having a good understanding, a solid understanding that it's not just our state where we're at, that it's the entire country, it's the entire hemisphere, it's the entire world, all the way around. Understanding the players and what they're doing, their agenda, what we're fighting against, what we're fighting for. By understanding all of that, folks, right, you're psychologically balanced. Now back to the food. If you're eating bland food, you're not going to want to eat it. You're not going to look forward to meals. Meals are going to be depressing. I've lived it. I lived it in the past as a Marine out in the field. It's like, we're going to eat that shit again. And they did what they could, right? But still, it was pretty basic stuff, pretty hard to live on. And then I did it again in the RMZ, and it reminded me, you've got to have spices. And MREs used to come with Tabasco sauce. But you've got to have a variety of food so that you want to eat it, so that it tastes good. You eat a lot of it and you have good energy. Additionally, there is a psychological benefit to eating a good meal and a quality meal. Now, I've watched people on TV eat food and they're like, oh, wow, I can feel the energy already. And I'm like, dude, you just ate it 10 seconds ago, 20 seconds ago. Your body has to take minutes, not minutes, hours to process food. What they're getting is a dopamine release. Literally, it's happy sauce, happy drugs from your brain. It releases and says, good job, you're eating. We really needed that food, that energy. So if you don't eat food, or you're not happy because you're going to have the same meal again, you don't get that dopamine release. You don't feel good. You're not excited about the meal. Consequently, you're not going to eat as much. You're going to be weaker, possibly sicker. You're going to be feeling down. Now, again, we as preppers need to be fully prepared, practiced, planned, and feeling as good as we can, because the rest of the world out there, whether it's those bad guys there or those bad guys there, they are going to be scared, hungry, if not starving. They're going to be pissed off. They're going to be worried. They're not going to be in a good place up here. So we need to maintain the biggest advantage we can in situations like that by having good food, good nutrition, and a good state of mind, as good as can be expected. Wow. Anyways, great topic. And I wanted to cover this at the end of the show, folks. In New York, the Democrat Lieutenant Governor, Brian Benjamin, has been arrested in a federal corruption investigation. Now, I have been shocked, folks, that Governor Cuomo was being investigated. And now Lieutenant Governor Brian Benjamin, that Chris Cuomo, I'm surprised that there's any investigation at all of Hunter Biden, but that's ongoing. I'm surprised at all that the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Department of Justice, the Attorney General's office has any interest at all in convicting Democrats, because we see them get away with it all the time. For example, I don't know, how about Hillary Clinton? Right? We know, folks, because James Comey said, yeah, what she did was a crime. You know, and we know that crime was a felony. Having a server in her basement, unsecured, that was hacked by China, that was full of very, very, very sensitive information. And she wasn't charged with a crime. So it makes me wonder, when they do charge these people with a crime, like Lieutenant Governor Brian Benjamin, how bad was this corruption? Or is he, like others, those few out there who are prosecuted and arrested, they get the perp walk? Are they just a sacrificial lamb to fool us into believing that justice is still there, that justice is happening? And I think really that's more likely the case. I don't think they're really interested in stopping corruption. But, you know, and this again goes to the point that I've been trying to make for a long, long time. And it actually runs off of George Carlin's comedy and satire. And that's a big, big club, right? The big boys are in the club. And you ain't in it. I'm not in it. When it comes time, folks, the police are going to realize they're not protected. They're not in the club. They're not special. They're just being used. Even people like Nancy Pelosi, she is a useful tool. She's been rewarded with, you know, a lot of money and a lot of power, but she was going to go to Taiwan and then found out China said, no, you ain't doing it, right? You know, she was made to look like a fool, right? She lost face in front of the world because of China. She's not even in the club. So someone like the lieutenant governor there in New York, yeah, he's not in the club either. Governor Cuomo, he's not really in the club. He's the face of political power. He's also the face of political corruption and evil. And they'll cut them loose quicker than shit. Will they not? Even President Trump, in my opinion, is not going to be saved by these people. Right? As wealthy as he is, as popular as he is, I don't think he's in the club. Those people in that club, folks, that is a very exclusive club. You have to have the right blood, the right DNA. You have to have enough money. You have to have enough pool. Those are the people that are truly in the club, folks. The rest of us are just peasants, pissants, servants, and slaves. And if you want to make it through this mess, you've got to be prepared. Because chance favors the prepared mind, folks. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Have a plan. And don't forget, after we hang up on this show, after we kill the broadcast, end it, I would like you to go to, click down here, click to the main channel, look at the videos, and click play all. Set it and forget it. Let's show YouTube who's popular and who isn't. CNN, not popular. Prepared Mind channel, Patriots, we are popular. Godspeed to you. Semper Fi.